Hello there, and welcome to Life Clarifications with Natasha. I am a medium, intuitive personal awareness coach, and I love to support people on working through their struggles in life. And I'm always here to be here to do what I need to do. And hello, there on Instagram. So I'm here on Instagram and I'm on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And I am grateful to be here in the moment of where we can help people. So, with that, today I wanted to talk about something that, we all struggle with some of these things, especially now at this time of the year, because I know that many of us go through life navigating our old stories about not feeling good enough about ourselves. Well, many of us on this planet, we carry so much struggle being ourselves, being the ones we need to be. And, you know, life is about being the learning process. So I want to give people a chance to know that no matter where they're at, what they've learned, what they've done, where they're going, that life is about walking forward. And it's such a learning process too. Many of us get all these things from our parents, from our siblings, from our aunts and uncles. And I've said this before that, life is about collecting. And so many of us have gotten things from our younger years, which were things that sometimes we lost perspective. Isn't that amazing perspective? There's so many perspectives out there. We get a perspective when we're a year old, a 2-year old, a 3-year old, a 4-year old, a 5-year old, a 6-year old, and going up. Can you imagine all the different perspectives that we have? Well, many of us don't feel good enough from minute one because of the fact that what we heard when we were in the womb. And many of our parents even struggled sometimes to say, "Oh, here's a dear one in my tummy." They can hear and feel the vibration of what we know and what we are. Well, many who have children aren't necessarily in awareness that our souls can hear and our ears can hear after a certain age. And many of us don't know that we pick up a lot of those insecurities that our parents talk about when we're in the womb, which is amazing, isn't it? That we can hear those and know those. So if somebody who has been in the womb and that whole pregnancy, the mother, no fault of hers, no judgment to her in my eyes, because we all have these stories. We all have these stories of navigation. Sometimes we have pregnancies where we didn't necessarily think that we were going to get pregnant at that time. And as we go forward, we kind of have that feeling, are we going to be good enough? Moms, are we going to be good enough to be who we are in that moment? To be a mother, me being female, and then the man not really, I mean, having a choice, yes, but not necessarily in carrying the child and having it, that it puts a lot of weight on a person who is struggling with feeling good enough to be who they are. And me being a medium, me being an intuitive person, that I remember a lot of things in my being in my mom's womb, actually. And I know that's hard to believe, but there's these feelings that I've gotten. And I know my mom wanted me. I almost feel like that I came a little early in their relationship, but Back in the 60s, women were supposed to have babies by a certain age. And, just different things like that. And, as we go forward and as we've done things that, our mom, many a times struggled with having, am I going to be good enough? And I said that already, I know, but it's that moment of going through and going, holy crap, I have a young one in my belly. Oh no, they're going to be a child soon. How am I even going to give birth? It's like all these different stories that we tell ourselves as people. And so when we're doing that, now think of your mother in a way, feeling these things, wondering about these things, doing these things. Would I be good enough to be a mother? And many weren't taught well being mothers from their mothers in generations before and generations before that. And can you imagine that many of the women of our grandparents and the parents before them struggled with being physically abused by an uncle, by a friend, by a father, by a mother, by a sister, by a brother. I'm just naming because many don't. I mean, it's just part of the process. And if you were abused and those times in the in the 1900s, the 20s, the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, if you were abused, and even the 70s, 80s, we're getting a little bit better about communicating about this, that when you were abused, it was almost your fault as the person being the abuser. It was never the man. It was never the man or there's some women that did it to their males. I'm not going to just say that it was just males doing this to females, even though a lot of times it was. That as we go through life, and can you imagine trying to parent someone who you're not feeling whole yourself because you can never talk about that? You can never communicate that happened to me. It was a shameful thing to have happen. And then you had to be a parent. You had to be a parent. And Veronica, thank you very much for sending a, a blowing kiss and an emoji. I'm grateful for you. And I'm looking forward to our session. That, when we're going through life and navigating life, I'm planting the seed for you to have an understanding where some of these I'm not good enough feelings can come from. And as we're going through life and navigating through a lot of the stories that we go through, and, in the country of the US that I live in the Northwest, I've been pretty sheltered in a way, but, these other countries, South America, South Africa, or Africa, the different countries of Africa, that being someone younger, you were at the hands of someone else. And what a moment to try to be someone who found value in themselves when you can't even find value in life. We all have stories. We all have something that happened to us growing up. Even if it's an argument between parents or someone in the house that you heard that, well, she's da 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 da, and then you thought they were talking about you. And then you thought, oh, I'm no good. Well, life happens, and we got to get to the point where sometimes in our lives that we looking in the mirror and saying something like, I am good enough. I am good enough. we have to, at some point in our lives, take responsibility for ourselves and our self-worth and our self-knowing. It's not easy. It's practice makes better. I'm not about practicing to be perfect by any means. It's about practicing to do better. Practicing to do better. And that's the thing about life, is practicing to do better. Because of the fact that we can't get it right the first time. We can't have that self-image of ourselves the first time. And I can tell you that during these times where whatever you choose to believe in the belief system of the universe, that this is a time where many of us are getting together with family, or if you can't because of COVID or whatever your personal belief systems are, or you just struggle plain old with your own the people that you should be able to love, but there's so much trauma that you're choosing not to be with the ones that you've been born into to be with. And as we go through life, hello, I'm on Instagram, that as we go through life and managing life, that our goodness, our self-worth is something we need to work on. And it does take practice to get there. No one comes through life clean. We all have baggage from something somewhere. We all have baggage from somewhere. And when we're in the moment of life and looking in the mirror, many of us, like us, who put on makeup, that we put on the makeup, but do we truly look in our eyes? Do we truly look in our eyes and say, damn it, you're good. I love you. Our self-worth is something that many times we may fake it, that we have it. I mean, we can stand on stage, do the talk. We can go into business, do the talk and the walk. And many of us can do that. Except for when we're laying in bed at night or whenever we go to sleep, because some of us work during the night, or we're going through these moments of life pushing us, that many times we lose our self-worth. We doubt who we are. And those are the times that it's good to practice through the belief that you are. When we're feeling our lowest, when depression is hitting us and we're feeling our lowest, those are the times that, if we can, get in front of that mirror, wherever there is one, and say, I know you're hurting right now, but damn it, it's okay. We'll be okay. Damn it, we'll be okay, because of the fact that you are worthy. You are worthy of being alive. I know for me that I have struggled with this too, being my self-worth. I had many years of my life being very doubtful about who I was, being very doubtful for who I was. And life kept showing me that I was, even though the people and the scenarios around me weren't. And it was just even the other day that it was a couple weeks ago, that I was doing something, and someone I was talking with was going through a rough time, and then someone I was interacting with was kind of being a little bit irritated because they were having a problems in life, and it seemed like they were aiming at me about everything was me. And I said, I whispered to myself, and I said, when am I going to be good enough? When am I, me, going to be good enough? Well, I said it. kind of not purposefully, but I said it outwardly just because I'm me and I was kind of in a moment and I think it shifted some of the people I was around's perspective because of the fact that we look at other people and when are they going to be good enough? This is a dual thing here. It's like if we don't feel good enough, how will we expect other people to feel good enough by our interactions? We judge ourselves and we judge others so cleanly, so innocently, so unconsciously that many a times that those unconscious moments are the ones that trigger somebody else's insecurities or not self-worth. And when we're going through life and managing life and doing the things that we're doing and being where we're at, are we perfect enough to be able to judge others? Because we all have experiences. We all have experiences. Being an individual in this world is important. We're meant to be an individual in this world. And yet at the same time, those individualities is the thing that struggles in the moments when we're feeling like we're getting swallowed up by this world. And Veronica, who is on Facebook with me, said, we're all wonderful healing souls. I'm grateful that you said that. We're all wonderful healing souls. Because of the fact that as we're going through life and managing life, our souls are the things that are in the moment of healing. And that's one thing that we're on this planet for right now is that to be able to signify something about how we're healing. How are we going to heal the things that we've heard before? How are we going to heal those things that we've gone through, some of our dramas when we were growing up? Because not everyone has had a great parent. Not everybody's had great siblings. Not everybody has had a great home. And many of us struggle through learning how to do and be in those moments of maturing and growing. And somebody on Instagram said, "How are you?" And I'm doing very well, actually. When I talk about things like this, that it's something actually that I've worked through myself, and I've come out the other side. I feel like I've come out the other side, even though 2 weeks ago I asked this question. And this is the conversation about self-worth. How do we feel about ourselves? Which means we got to include how do we feel about others. If we're always comparing ourselves to others, then how are we going to feel valuable ourselves? Now, I know that in my life, there's people that are doing things that I wish I could do. They're doing things that I know that I could see in my future that they're actually doing. I purposely don't say, I want to be your life. It's not about me wanting to be their life. But it's about me saying, can I piggyback on that energy? Can I get on that train? Can I get on that train? Can I get on that momentum so that I can have my individual path to get to where I want to go, where I'm called to go? And being intuitive like I am, I can feel these callings for me. And I know others do too. Because we're all intuitive. Kind of wanted to share that. We're all intuitive. But how we trust it is up to you. And I know for me, my intuitiveness, the more I trust it, the more in sync I get with it, which means that I've practiced a lot of time to be with it. Knowing that no matter what has happened in your past, that you're good enough to love yourself and you're worthy of being loved by others. Many times that self-talk is what gets in the way. That self-talk gets in the way. Loving ourselves, navigating life ourselves, it's not easy. Being a part of life in this moment of unearthing, I hope and pray that through our scenario of COVID coming over this earth of ours, that we've all had a chance to go a little bit inward. And many of us didn't like what we saw. We found jobs that we didn't like anymore. There was self-doubt about who we are. There was a self-value. We were valuing ourselves on the outer part of our world. In other words, we valued ourselves on how good we were doing in the job. We valued ourselves on who our relationship was on with and how they judged us and how they interacted with us. I know for me, for many years that I had a self-worth on who I was through my alcoholic husband's eyes, because my self-value wasn't very strong when we first got together. Gaining this self-worth was something that I had to say to myself. It doesn't matter what others believe. It's up to me to believe in myself. And that was part of my language. I believe in myself. I believe in myself. I believe in myself. I believe I can do it. I believe in myself. I believe in myself. I know I can do it. I believe in myself. I believe in myself. It didn't matter if my husband didn't like what I cooked for that night. Well, I kind of thought that maybe, I put love in it. I tried. I did my better. And sometimes I would apologize. Sorry, it's not something you like. And I meant it. At the same time, though, I had to sometimes walk away to not see his interactions of judgment, because he struggles with self-value himself and he's practicing to do better. That as he would work through that, I couldn't be a witness to it because I didn't want to pull myself down. So I'd step away for a few minutes and then I would come back. Having judgment and having these scenarios, it's not always for the better for ourselves. And like Veronica said, we're all wonderful healing souls. That is the game of life, is to figure out how to get these healing moments that we can have. That's why you see a lot of the things in the background here, that at the top is love. Because every time that I look in that, I see love. And it reminds me to love. And if you notice the beings on the top, they're two kind of artistic male female that are coming together and they're dancing. And the woman has a pretty dress on and the man is very handsomely looking, kind of like what you'd see on some of the dance shows. And it's that dancing of unity. Well, it could be my husband and I, we're going to dance together, but also too, this is just coming to me. I love it when I'm doing some conversation and it's like, oh, it's an aha for me too. Um, but it's also the dance of the male female side of myself, the masculine and the feminine side of myself. How am I going to dance with both of them? How am I going to be in commune with both of them? How am I going to apply my knowings of my different moods, my masculine moods and my female feminine moods? How am I going to navigate through this dance of being with ourselves? Finding the rhythm, finding the moment of being. So I'm going to go back to the womb, when we're in the womb. Okay. That as we're in the womb, we hear many things about am I wanted or am I not wanted? Did my mom almost abort me? Or did she want me? When she held me after I was born, did she have that that care? Did the man in my life, the father in my life, have that care, or the other? Because there's so many same-sex marriages, and I'm not trying to put male female on anything here. It's about the other, because there's relationships everywhere, and I want to honor all. But two people or one person, because it doesn't take two people, one person can be the love. That moment where holding, did someone say, wow, you're amazing, or something like that? And even if they did, sadly, soon after, when we're crying, would you shut up? Would you, it's like all these things start happening to us after we're born. And then we're a 1-year-old that's getting into everything, and the parent is feeling so overwhelmed, right? And then you have a 3-year-old who's throwing a tantrum, and the parent who has had 3 years of holy heck, this is not what I thought it could be, was starting to scream and yell and telling us things. This is some of our lives. How do we find self-worth in that moment? It's called, we can at any point in our life pick up the awareness that we are worthy of self-love. Being good enough. I'm good enough. Many of us are put into situations that we struggle. Me being dyslexic, that I have struggled a lot in my life. Like, my dad used to run a chiropractic office. Well, he would put me in the office to teach me how to do the office staff. And it's like, yeah, I can answer the phone, but do you think I could spell a person's name when I was writing down the appointment? No. Or if I filed, half the time I would file it wrong because I didn't see exactly the letters that were written there. Just yesterday, we're sending a box to another state, and my husband mentioned to me, "You wrote the numbers backwards." I felt like I haven't done that for a while. Oops. 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 And as we go through life and manage life, right there was a trigger. Am I good enough? Am I good enough? Am I good enough? Yeah, I am actually good enough. I make mistakes. I'm going to make mistakes, but I'm good enough. And I know for a lot of the masculine side of life, that many of you have been told that don't show emotions. Don't do what you should be don't do what everybody tells you to do. You need to be strong. You need to be elegant. You need to do da da da. You need to take care of this and you need to take care of that. And then there's some people who believe that that should be true. Well, my husband feels stronger because he's willing to be weak in front of me. And that's a good thing to teach our men, our other halves, our masculine sides, even the masculine side of us, that we are good enough, even if we can't do everything. We can't do everything. Who can do everything? Who does everything? We all have a weakness and we all have a strength. But yet, when we're showing our weakness, many of us go into this, oh, I can't show that. I can't show that. No, I can't show somebody I'm weak. I got to know everything. It's called human. What we know at age 1 is not what we're going to know at age 10. And we're not going to know what we know at age 10. We're going to know a whole lot more at age 20. And so on. We gain knowledge. Now, if we're in a life where life happens and we've got a lot of practice, there's a lot of us that live life and we have a lot of street smarts. A lot of people have street smarts. They grow up in on the east side of the United States. They grow up in the subways. They have street smarts. They know how to navigate that. Yet, would they feel smart enough if they sat in a classroom and did the work? Yet they're still worth and they have self-value. Because I betcha that many of those people who have street smarts can help us when we're in this moment of life where life just breaks down in front of us. And it's going to take the people with street smarts to get us through. So they have self-worth, even though they can't do maybe the upper math, or if they struggle with reading. Everybody has self-worth. And that's one thing that I pray. I pray that everybody's perception, that they can see someone's self-worth in somebody else, even if it's not what they agree with. Oh, that's a hard one. Can you find self-worth in somebody else if you don't agree with them? It's huge. It's huge. It's huge. I would love to just honor you for where you're at in your life. And as I do inspirational quotes on my Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook page, and I do inspirational videos, which I need to load about 3-5 of them up onto YouTube, that when we're going through life, that when we can, be who you are in the moment that you're doing it. I lost my train of thought there if you couldn't tell, but hey, this is called the conversation, right? So with that when we're going through life, thinking about all the millions of people that are on this planet with different skills, with different knowings and different abilities. Think about that. The millions of people having different skills, abilities, and knowings. That's huge. That's huge. It's huge. And do you think everybody has the same opinion? Would we want everybody to have the same opinion? Would we want everybody to have the same skill? Kind of like a lopsided car. How would somebody know? Somebody can work on the engine, but would they know anything about the bearings and the support system of the car? No. The shocks and the all the different stuff. because the suspension of the car is different than the motor of the car, the engine. It takes different skills. Yet, those two skills can keep a car moving, right? If we all knew how to cook, why would there be restaurants? Well, restaurants employ people, right? Everybody has a different scenario that they can do better. And I want you to know, shine in those lights, and honor yourself for who you are. Because we're all worthy of being valuable. I know that I know two people that are struggling with this right now, because one has very book smarts, and the other one's not very book smart, but he's very street smart. And the job that the street smart person has to do is part of what the book smart person is doing. And they're clashing a little bit because they're not very in sync with each other, because they both have different skills. Well, that's finding the path. That's finding the path and negotiating those parts of us with that path. Finding each person's strength will make the wheel go around faster. And I pray for this. I pray that we can all be in the moment of grace and being. So tonight, it's almost like 22, and I have something I need to do in a little bit here. So I'm going to pull cards today. And who's ever watching, if you would like a card, I do intuitive cards, like with the fairy deck. And if anybody knows, fairies, they think fairies look like this, but many fairies can look like this, or can look like this as you take a picture of something shining across. So with that if you would like a card pull, I would be glad to do that for you. I also have an angel deck. I have kind of the oracle cards here. Feel like, who wants to go? Oh, and then I have this here. It's the map with Colette Baron Reed. I think I pronounced her name right finally. So I feel like one of the cards is from this deck here. And I'm going to pull a card for everybody. And I want everybody to know that when we're struggling, being with family members through the holidays, and we're struggling with are we good enough? And do we have enough? Let's say some of us are parents and we're still buying gifts for young ones. And do they have everything they need? Am I good enough of a parent or a good enough support system for them to get them all that they need? And many of us will struggle with that. I personally will a little bit too. It's a wonky year this year to navigate. So I'm going to try to convince myself that what I'm doing is good enough, right? So as I pull a card, what I'm doing is I'm shuffling. What I'm doing is I'm asking it, this oracle cards to come forth in the greater message for us all. What is what somebody can use? What is something that somebody can use? And what I'm doing is I'm pulling a card. Leader. Mm-hmm. So I was pulling a card, and one card basically jumped out. So I'm taking that as the message that this is the card for them, for us. So it's 40, and it's called Follow the Leader. Follow the leader. I'm showing this on my StreamYard through Facebook and Instagram, and Twitter, and YouTube, and then I am showing this to Instagram also. So number 40. So I will read. Believe in myself. I believe in myself. I believe in myself. Oh, in the map book here. Okay, so number 40. Number 40, 38, 39, 40. Follow the leader. Every life is leading. Okay. Every life is a teaching tool for another's. Your authenticity and honest are the example to those around you. Let me reread that, please. And I apologize. Every life is a teaching tool for others. Your authenticity and honesty are the example to those around you. So the card was upright. It was upright. Okay, so you're being called to be the leader of others by example. Your wisdom has been earned as a result of your bravery in the adventures of your life. The experiences of battles won and lost, places discovered, tears shed, and joy revealed have placed you in a unique position to be and serve to others. That's kind of what I was talking about, wasn't it? Your suffering has been crystallized into a talisman of wisdom. Ooh. Your suffering has been crystallized into a talisman of wisdom. Talisman is something that you carry as a support. Like sometimes my talisman is my necklace to protect me and to work with me. Crystallized into a talisman of wisdom. Now you must share it. By being fully authentic, okay, let me start that over again. By being fully authentic, you'll lead others into the light. You'll be required to divulge some things about your past so that you may help someone else. Lead with love. There is another message here as well. Look to those whose great characters and accomplishments you admire. Illuminate the leaders you respect. You will then, in turn, have more to offer. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the card upside down for those who are struggling right now with this concept. Reverse, follow the leader card offers a gentle push to get up and take the lead. In a relationship or partnership, be the one to voice what must be said. Muster your courage and speak your needs out loud. Affirm that you like and affirm what you like and what you feel. Don't just hope for someone else to fix the problem you see. If your inquiry is about a career or project, you must take the initiative to draw up a proper plan. And if it's not about the personal relationship, you must be clear about your intentions and desires. Boldly begin a discussion about how things really are and how to make the situation work for the highest good of all. Do this as soon as possible. You may personally be surprised by the result. That's a pretty good card. So it's not about following the leader in the sense of be like others, but it's about being in communion with others, knowing that your path has been the catalyst for being who you are. Those tools can be, but self-image is 80% of what we're doing in life and the purpose of life. 80%. 80%. That's a big number, isn't it? And it could be actually higher than that. Living life and doing life It's not easy. And self-perception, self-worth, self-awareness, the self I, it's healthy to think of the healthy I. Like I tell kids excuse me, I had the hiccup. I tell kids in the classroom who are learning to capitalize their I's that are standing alone. I am important and I need to be capitalized. That's true. I am important. Others are the I's that need to be important. So if I can leave this with you, that when we're going through life and navigating life, remember everybody has a personal story. Not everybody has the tools to work through it. And sadly, us that are a little bit more aware, love can work on healing. Intention in a conversation can help with navigating it differently. What is my intention? And honing up to being our awareness. What am I value? What is my self-value? What is my self-value at? Be aware of where you're at, and that will help you. Many of us live too much in the future and too much in the past, and when we're not here. We're not here. So be here. Visions are great, but understanding that our past was what does it say? Catalyst for our talisman to carry our wisdom with us. It's pretty darn strong, isn't it? There's another card talking here. So I'm having to listen to this. There's one more card calling out. What can we hear to help people in the moment that they're in? Oh, there's the card. There's the card. There's the card. Magical. Ooh, isn't that cool? Magical map shifter. Magical map shifter. Wow, isn't that cool? Magical map shifter. So that is 52. Magical map shifter. Haven't had that card yet. Magical map shifter. So this is about shifting your life to where you're going. Upright card. When the magical map shifter card arrives, it comes within a mission to make you aware that people who come into your life to impact your personal growth. I'll reread that. When magical map shifter card arrives, it comes with a mission to make you aware of the people who come into your life to impact your personal growth. Perhaps you may meet a soulmate whose presence invites you to be the best you that you can be, or someone who leads you out of difficulty and into a place of safety or security or success. Pay attention to those individuals who's crossed your path today and cause you to reflect in your journey. Be awake and aware, and you'll recognize them for the important change agent they are. Your whole perspective about who you are and why you're here will shift. The magical map shifter always initiates you into a better vision of yourself. Wow, a better vision of yourself. So I'm going to read the card for those who might feel like it's upside down for them. This card was upright though. Magical mission. Reverse, magical map shifter card. May bring you the opposite of what you were seek. Perhaps you are in denial about your situation and refuse to see the truth. Or maybe you've been traveling down a path that has constantly led you into the field of poppies, where you fall asleep and dream of desire that never find their own form. To have a life you really want, you must match its visionary energy and resonate with it. Sometimes our greatest hurts and disappointments are what awaken us to our need to shift to the highest frequency. Wow, that's a statement. Sometimes our greatest hurts and disappointments are what awakens us to our need to shift to our highest frequency. I'm reading out of the map for these cards. And it's by Colette Baron Reed. If your heart aches because someone is breaking it, this discomfort will lead you to a more authentic life. Don't linger in the pain or blame the magical map shifter for alerting you to the illusion you clung to. Know that treasure lies somewhere and can be recovered once you've healed the wound that is reflected in those who come to you as a catalyst for growth. As you experience yourself transforming into the highest vision of yourself, you will come to understand that you're always fortunate when you meet up with the magical map shifter. Wow, what a card. What a card. Our perspective and the wisdom. What is this here to teach me? That is my go-to mantra when I come into a scenario. What is this here to teach me? I hope this session has helped you today. I am hoping that when you go to my YouTube channel, please like or follow me on whatever platform you are on. I do have inspirational videos on my YouTube channel, if you'd like to go to that and see some bigger ones that, I do this weekly show. So weekly, we are here. Regan is here with me on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter on Mondays at 4 o'clock Pacific time. And on Wednesdays, if I do not have someone, oh, my brain is like, it was a day today. If I don't have a guest on my show, thank you. I love it when things pop in. If I don't have a guest on my show on Wednesdays, I'll be here on Instagram too. Blessings to you on your journey. And if you're looking for a private session with me, you can go to angelicclarifications.com and make an appointment. Right now, until the end of January 2022, I am having a special on my sessions. Blessings to you, and know that you are worthy and you are very much someone who is so much worthy to be alive and here. And I want everybody to know that even if you yourself struggle seeing everybody else's value, they have value too. Blessings to you. And may you have a week of amazingness to come up. See you on Monday and next Wednesday at 4 o'clock Pacific time. Blessings to you. Bye now.